There's something quite funny about Arsenal signing Bruno Guimarães. Out of all the Arsenal players Arsenal could have signed, it had to be him. These two have history. When Arsenal and Newcastle play each other, Bruno and Rice weren't exactly the type to shake hands. Pushing, arguing, fighting. There were moments where it generally looked like these two didn't like each other. And Bruno has now revealed what Rice told him when he was joining Arsenal.
Rice sent me a message, come here, and please no more fights, now we're friends.
It's pretty hilarious. Underneath the joke, there's actually something quite interesting about the partnership, because Arsenal haven't just bought another really good midfielder. They might have bought the player that allows Declan Rice to become something slightly different, and potentially even better. And that's the part of this transfer I don't think people are talking about enough. If Mikel Arteta gets the balance right between these two, the Premier League could have a huge problem. When you actually look at Rice and Bruno, it's not that surprising they used to get on each other's nerves. They're quite different personalities on the pitch, but they're fighting for the same thing: control of the midfield. Bruno loves contact. He gets involved in duels, disrupts rhythm, and constantly puts himself into the action. Off-the-ball shenanigans. Premier League analysis previously highlighted that willingness to do the dirty work as one of the biggest strengths, and the numbers back it up. Before joining Arsenal, Bruno had finished either first or second amongst Newcastle players for duels won in every one of his 4 full seasons at the club. Last season, he averaged around 6.1 duels won per 90 and 1.6 tackles won per 90, better than Arsenal's existing central midfield options in those categories.
Yeah, you know, and we've struggled for goals, obviously, with Isak leaving. Voltamado's done great, stepped in, but no one else has been contributing except Bruno. You know, some great goals, and just the attitude of the side. You know, he sets an example from being from Brazil. He totally gets the culture, he gets what it means to us Geordies, and been here for a few years now, and he is a top captain.
7 goals and assists already in the league. I think that's really underrated. I think he's been, since arriving, really in that top bracket of central midfielders. This season, along with Rice and Caicedo, are probably marginally ahead of him.
I think it's Bruno Guimarães just behind.
Rice is aggressive in a different way. He can hunt the ball, but one of the biggest weapons is what happens immediately after. He wins it, and then he travels. That's what makes this partnership interesting, because you're putting two midfielders together who both want to dominate territory, but they do it differently. Bruno can help Arsenal control the chaos. Rice can exploit the space that chaos creates. And we've actually already seen evidence of how devastating Rice can be when he's allowed to do that.
Saw Declan Rice say on the pitch, at least when your lip read, he seemed to say, it's not over. I take it that's a message that you're reinforcing to your guys as well.
I love that. That's why Arsenal is there. I love that. When I saw it yesterday, and just the defender and make, that means what is Declan Rice. I think Arsenal mentality. I know that. We face them, in the Premier League this season and the Carabao Cup, how competitive, and otherwise you cannot do the season they have done or the season they have done so far. In the Premier League being there and the Champions League being unbeaten so far, because you have this type of course, Mikel, but the type of players that follow the message and being resilience in the bad moments. Still, we are there.
Look at Rice's performance against Newcastle in September 2025. This wasn't just a good midfield performance. The numbers were ridiculous. Rice led everybody on the pitch. Touches, completed passes, passes into the final third, line-breaking passes and carries. He made 17 line-breaking passes. He carried the ball 29 times. He travelled 260 metres with the ball, and he still covered 11.3 kilometres during the match. Rice isn't simply a defensive midfielder anymore. He's becoming a midfielder who can affect almost every phase of the game, and that's where Bruno becomes important, because one of the problems with having a midfielder capable of doing everything is that sometimes you ask him to do everything. Bruno potentially changes that. Here's what I'd actually watch when these two start playing together. Don't just watch who's playing number 6 or who's playing number 8. Watch what happens immediately after Arsenal lose possession. Because Bruno's ability to win duels and recover the ball could give Rice something incredibly valuable: permission to stay higher. Last season, only Rice amongst Arsenal midfielders averaged more recoveries than Bruno. So imagine Arsenal attack. Imagine Rice makes one of those powerful runs towards the box. Normally there's always the question, Who's protecting the space he's just left? Now you've potentially got Bruno sitting behind that movement, and Bruno simply isn't just a destroyer either. That's another misconception about him. He has the quality. He can receive under pressure, turn away from players and break lines with passing. So Arsenal could have a situation where Bruno wins the ball, finds Rice, and suddenly Rice isn't collecting possession next to his centre-backs, which Rice has struggled to do in the past. He is often criticised for his ability to receive the ball in a half-turn. This time he's collecting it 20 or 30 yards further forward. That is a completely different proposition, because we've already seen Rice develop his shooting, his final ball, his set pieces, and his ability around the penalty area. The scary thing about Bruno isn't necessarily what Bruno adds individually, it's what his presence might remove from Rice's workload. That's the key. And then there's the physical side, because Arsenal have basically taken players who used to spend Arsenal-Newcastle matches trying to overpower each other and put them on the same team. That's horrible to play against. Lose a duel against Bruno, Rice is behind him. Get away from Rice, Bruno's coming across. Beat the first press, you've still got another elite midfielder capable of recovering 20 yards and taking the ball off you. And both players have something Arteta clearly values: personality. Bruno captained Newcastle. Rice is one of Arsenal's leaders. Neither one hides when a match becomes physical. Neither one particularly cares if the opposition wants to turn the game into a battle. They love to carry the load. They recognise something in each other. Neither one wanted to back down, except now. They don't have to. Bruno Guimarães has officially joined Arsenal from Newcastle in a deal reported at 75 million, saying he needed a new challenge and wanted to compete for major trophies. But I think judging this transfer solely on Bruno's numbers misses the point entirely. What version of Declan Rice does Bruno Guimarães create? Because if Bruno takes more responsibility for receiving the ball under pressure, if he helps Arsenal protect during transitions, if he wins those ugly midfield duels, and if that allows Rice to spend another 5 or 10% of matches further up the pitch, then Arsenal haven't just added Bruno, they may have upgraded Declan Rice. And that's why this partnership could be special. Two players who used to scrap against each other, two captains, two midfielders who love a physical game, except now they're wearing the same shirt. Rice has already told Bruno, no more fighting. Probably sensible, because if these two start fighting for each other, the Premier League might have a problem. Bruno Guimarães and Declan Rice, enemies yesterday, partners today, and potentially the midfield everybody else is going to have to figure out tomorrow.